Welcome to the Redmen TV. It's Uncensored Match Build-Up Show time. Liverpool, Chelsea. Chris is here, Steve's here, Aubrey's here, and we've got loads of people behind the camera as well, which makes a change. I'm expecting like whoops and cheers and claps. Whoop! Not from you.
Not from us. Not from us. No.
And you know what? Fine.
I always go too early, man.
Story of my life.
Oh,
Sorry,
man. Anyway, Chris, no rest for the wicked. The big games keep coming.
They do, Paul.
Thoughts on that?
I'm happy. I'm excited to play Chelsea. Look, it's going to be a tough game regardless, isn't it? Look, Antonio Conte seems to have Chelsea playing a style of football that we kind of expected Chelsea to play. When we played them in pre-season, we struggled to break them down.
Can I just stop you? You've got pen on your face.
Already?
Have you got pen?
Already? I don't think we've even used the pen.
I'm not gonna lick it clean, but there. Just remember there and
There.
that. Yeah, give that away.
So when we played them in pre-season, they were really hard to break down. But I think since then, what we've done is we've definitely improved our attacking side of things. And I don't know why you are all looking at me like I've got pen on my
Have you
face.
seen that bit in what's that? Is it Four Lions? Is it through like that film where he tries to hide? He hides his beard.
Yeah.
By putting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on profile. I'm not. I'll be honest. I've not listened to a single word that you said there.
Makes a fucking change.
So I'm gonna guess the gist was on. I remember you talking about the style of football. Chelsea started well. Good. I can't. It's like the mole.
Stop looking
in
at it.
Austin
Mole.
Powers. Yeah, Steve, this will be a different test to last season. Ultimately, you know, Conte's gonna be looking to establish himself, stamp himself on this game, and you know, ultimately, despite the fact that we've had a reasonable run of form at Stamford Bridge over the last few years, it's a new manager. We can't expect to go there and necessarily have things our way.
I can't imagine they'll be as bad as they were last year, because although they took the lead against us, it was kind of our mistake, wasn't it? And then we battered them pretty much, didn't we? And 3-1 in the end was almost a bit flattering to them, I thought, at the time. They haven't been that good this year. They've been okay. I watched the first time I watched them 90 minutes, I watched them against Swansea, and they were pretty poor, to be honest. They weren't that good.
Had a lot of shots and stuff, didn't they?
They were okay. There was nothing massively clear-cut, I thought. It wasn't like the goalie was making save after save. It was like half attempts and stuff like that. Costa was great. He played really well, so we'll have to keep an eye out on him. But I don't know, I fancy us in big games away.
Yeah.
Under Klopp, his record showing that we go to these places and we historically we do okay. So Etihad, the Emirates earlier this season, we went to Spurs twice and have done pretty well. Chelsea outside. So I think we'll go there, and I think we'll give them a game, and I think they'll be more worried about us rocking up there than we are travelling there, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. How are you feeling, just in life?
I'm good. We had a really good chat about cocaine before in the office. I thought that was quite funny.
Is that Rama slang for cocaine?
It is. We had a really good chat about cocaine. Why do you think he's got pen on his face?
We were just
all about
complaining.
tits.
To be honest, I think you were saying it's fine, but it's the smell that gets you more than anything else. Like, let's
Having
move
a chat
on.
with Kurt.
Have you told everyone about your date on Friday?
No, I'm going to
There
talk
you
about
go
that off air.
Was this LinkedIn?
No.
No.
You get jobs.
This is Tinder, lad.
You get jobs on LinkedIn. You don't get dates unless LinkedIn's changed.
Wow. This has been a fucking shit show.
Tom, you moved seat once and look
Top
what
move
happened.
seats. Chris has got pen on his face and Aubrey's making social media jokes. And Steve's making hard Class A drug references. It's Liverpool versus Chelsea, everyone. Trivia question. What is the name? The last two players to play for both teams to feature in a European final for Liverpool. We'll do the answers at the end of the show.
Shut up, pen face.
Don't say anything. Dickhead.
Aubrey, are you calmer about this game after last weekend's results?
I wouldn't say calmer. I think, I agree with Steve. I'm confident with us going to the big teams away from home, because you can look at what Klopp's done, and we've gone and won away at big teams. But I think it's better for us that Chelsea have dropped points, you know, against Swansea. It shows that they're not, even though they haven't been playing particularly well, they're not impenetrable, they're not impermeable, they're not this incredible force. They've gone away to...
Sensational words you've thrown in there, though.
They've gone away to Swansea, they dropped points. We've just got back on track after, you know, it would have been Burnley defeat, draw against Tottenham. If we hadn't have won and won so convincingly, we possibly would be sitting here with doom and gloom. But then I know the three people on these couches, and there would have been no doom and gloom. We'd have all been convinced we were going to go to Chelsea and win, no matter what had happened against Leicester. But I think it's still a really different test, isn't it? So you can't say calm. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a better team than where they finished in the league last year.
Yeah.
They've got great players. I think what they've managed to be in the last 4 games in the league is a team who's discovering a new manager and figuring out a way of playing, but then they've got 2 world-class players in Costa and Hazard up front.
Yeah.
That bails you out of so much shit.
Yeah.
You can have an average performance, you can go and be like disjointed and not have any flow to it. You can concede shots, you can concede chances to the other team, just bang it upfield and Costa puts it in the back of the net and you win that game 1-0.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a little bit nervous, because ultimately our best is going forward. Our defence is still shaky. We haven't shown at any point this season that we're really good at shutting teams down and locking teams out. We've shown that we've got a mistake in us still, and we let teams score. But not even have to work that hard to get a goal against us. And there's 2 players definitely in that team, in Hazard and Costa, who can benefit
and he did it in the home game against us, Hazard, didn't he? If you remember that goal,
phenomenal.
It was decided, I've got a major European international tournament
to
make sure I'm involved in. Yeah, let's turn it on against Liverpool.
Was it Benteke in like the 90th minute that got us the point there?
Yeah, he was so good that day. Hazard's historically played really well against us.
Yeah.
There's been 3 or 4 games where he has just been super.
The karma thing, I guess, comes more from less about our performances, although that helps, but more for them, Chris, is because you don't. Again, we always talk about it, like not putting too much stock in the table at this stage of the season. But that being said, going to Stamford Bridge against an unbeaten in 4 Chelsea, you're all of a sudden thinking, no matter how well you perform against Leicester, you're thinking, well, if we lose this, the ground that we're going to have to make up on Chelsea, yada, yada, yada. Whereas you're kind of in a position where, you know, we're going to be able to treat the match as it should be treated. If you get a win, that's a fantastic result. If you get a draw against Chelsea away from home, that's actually a good result as well. So the pressure it's always going to be on, but it's probably off in a wider sense.
No, I agree with that 100%, mate. I think, you know, if we were another 2 points behind Chelsea or something like that, and then it becomes 5 points or something like that, it's a lot harder for us to call back. And regardless of it being so early on in the league or not, point gaps are hard to call back, even at this stage of the season. And, you know, going there, I don't know whether it affects the results in any way, but it definitely affects me as a fan.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be a lot more nervous. That's not to say that I'm not nervous. I am. I always am against Chelsea because it matters a lot. Like, I want to go there and I want to steamroll them and I want to embarrass Chelsea. Yeah. That's just the type of Liverpool fan that I am. Yeah. I don't want to embarrass every team, but Chelsea's the one team in the league at the minute that I really hate.
I'm happy to embarrass every team, given the opportunity. Yeah. Steve, Phil Coutinho and Emre Can are both going to be chomping at the bit to get in this game. For you, either of them come back in?
Yeah, I think I'd play Coutinho and move Firmino up front, just because we've seen that work. You all know my love for Daniel Sturridge, unquestionable, but that formula has worked in this game. It's worked in City, it's worked at Arsenal. It does work. So I would go Firmino up front and bring Coutinho in. Chan's an interesting one. I think I'd play him because he's really good, but then I'm trying to think, well, who drops out? It's probably Wijnaldum with Henderson pushing further forward.
Into his position, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play him and he used Henderson just to be really, really busy deeper and have Wijnaldum and Lallana putting in equal. I think it's almost a wash. I think Chan's a better player, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone, I don't want to make too many changes from a team that's just whacked the champions 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm already going to change my centre-back, you'd think, if Lovren's eye, you know, if he can see. And then I'm bringing Coutinho back in, which I think he will. Does he really want to make 3 changes? Either way, I'm not that concerned by that one. Yeah. But yeah, I would bring Coutinho back in. Again, he's done all right against Chelsea in the past again.
Scored 2 against them last season, didn't he?
And I say, I think I'd put Firmino back up front. It's going to be against David Luiz. I wouldn't mind Firmino trying to get in and around him in terms of Luiz will take a chance or 2 on the ball. John Terry probably wouldn't. Yeah. He will get shot. Cahill got caught out the other day by Leroy Fer. It was probably a foul in truth, but Firmino's going to do that exact same job there. So they're the 2 I'd bring in, yeah.
Is there a case, we talked about the John Terry thing, you used it on the news earlier in the week, or John Terry, he's a phenomenal centre-half and he has been for so long. David Luiz, we know that he's prone to doing stupid things, but that being said, physically, his pace and all that kind of stuff, he should be able to handle what we've got. So maybe is there a case of, do you go with a Firmino, you're relying on trickery, or do you go with someone with a bit more pace, like a Sturridge, or we keep saying Origi, he hasn't been in contention really so far, but he's there, he's ready to play football.
Yeah, it's thrown something into it, hasn't it? Personally, as a Liverpool fan, I'd rather Terry was playing in this game, not because he's the worst defender than Luis, but I think our forwards would have given him more of a torrid time than the unknown of David Luiz. It's going to be Firmino up front. I'm pretty much certain, because that's just what Klopp does away from home, especially in these games. David Luiz knows Firmino and Coutinho from the Brazilian setup, so you're talking about David Luiz, a new defender to the league. Not really. He'd have played alongside Kale in training at least. I don't know whether he played many games with him in the Premier League when he was back there. Yeah. He would have had times. And then he's going to come up against two Brazilian players who he knows from his time with Brazil. So it's not like he's getting dropped in and it's completely unknown. He's having to mark Bournemouth strikers who he's never even heard of. And he has got that more guile and trickery and pace in him. I'd have rather Terry played. Who knows? I think you can get at least. On the other flip side of that, I don't think Klopp changes his team that specific to the opposition. And there might become times when we criticise him for that, where we go, no, you've got to go very different for that. But I think what we've seen Klopp's got a home-ish team and an away team. So it doesn't matter whether he's heard that John Terry's going to play or David Luiz is going to play. He's going to go with, if he thinks it's Firmino leading the line, it'll be Firmino. If he thinks it's going to be like Dortmund away and it's Origi who'll do the job, it'll be Origi, and it doesn't matter which defender's going to line up there, because it's about his team going out there and enacting the team plan and putting it that way. I think personally I agree with you. It'll be what we've seen. Firmino will start and Coutinho will come back in. And I also think if there is going to be a change for Chan, or there's a case possibly to go really defensive and put a Stewart into the actual holding mid, it would have to be Wijnaldum who'd drop out, and I don't see that happen.
That's what he done at Burnley, was it Burnley when he no, sorry, it was Burton, when he picked what he thought was a full strength team, and it was Wijnaldum who didn't play, and Henderson was more advanced. That wouldn't be a huge shock. It'd be a shame, I think, because I think Wijnaldum, I think that was his best game.
He's just starting to find his feet.
But Emre Can's, he's got to play, hasn't he? I think he's integral, I think, to how we want to play. I think he will.
I think he comes in against Derby. I think Judy, he's had a few injury problems.
You and I did this in the week, didn't we? Because he's just not played enough football, and we know he can drop in to a game and perform. Villarreal, but it's so early in the season, Klopp show no indication whatsoever that he's asked about rushing players back into the side. So you could see him starting.
Yeah,
I mean, see him not being.
I'll be doing my starting 11 prediction show later, and I've been thinking about it already. And I think the Henderson starts for Chan in this game. I agree with Aubrey on the derby. It's probably the first time we'll see him. Well, just one thing on the David Luiz, I think slightly differently to Aubrey. I think you're right in what you're saying and stuff, except that the fluidity of our front three, the way that Mane moves in and Firmino will move out and stuff like that. Say it is Mane, Firmino, Coutinho. David Luiz is like a front first defender. He'll track Firmino and leave space behind. So I actually think that could be a really good way for us to attack them. He's very much likes to whip in front of a man. Firmino gets there first, plays a little ball off him. Mane's in, and I like that matchup more than I like John Terry, because I think he's just a lot more experienced, and he knows when to go and when to hold. And I think David Luiz could be prone to making an error for us.
And what my take on Firmino is, he always looks like he's going to lose the ball. And as an opposition defender, I'd be like, I'm going to get into him. Because every time, and then he's got that little trick, and sometimes it's just like, it takes like 4 deflections, bounces around, and he's still got it. Other times he does that thing like he's done against Leicester, where he just takes 3 of them on, or he falls from the sky and he
kills it dead.
He's that good with his feet. So I wouldn't be adverse, like say, it's going to be, I imagine left back for them is going to be Azpilicueta, you'd think. So that's where Mane's up again. So Mane's going to want to cut inside. I don't think he's going to be wanting to go around Azpilicueta, or Azpilicueta's a very good defender. So if that diagonal's on with Luiz coming out of space, then I agree, it makes perfect sense.
And again, it's just you're talking about that. But I also think it would have been that way where it was Terry or Luiz. It might be more. It might work out better for us. It's one of those hypotheticals we will never know, because you can't play 2 games with them both playing. But we'd have looked for that tactic anyway, because that's what we've done every game.
Yeah.
It's a different effect. But you're saying that it's massively important on Lallana, and I'm going to say Wijnaldum, but it could be Henderson. Those two positions again, getting them into the box. Look, if we're going to score, like one of our archetypal goals this season is going to be Wijnaldum, whoever's in that position, being the furthest man forward. But that's a centre mid cutting it back across the box to the other centre mid to take a shot, or the winger who's cut in.
The one thing that Chelsea have got going for them in that regard is that they've been playing Kante behind the midfield four, haven't they? And so they've got Matic in that midfield four, and Matic is probably just a little bit wiser to that, and he'll probably track those runs a little better. So whichever side Matic lines up on, there might be more of a focus on the other centre midfielder if it's Lallana and Matic on the other side, to make sure that it's Lallana.
It's actually going to be an interesting point to show how good Kante actually is, and I hope he looks average, because that means we've done really well. But we've just played Leicester, and a lot of focus was shown on Amati, who's come in and stepped into that Kante role, and what he didn't do, how he didn't track those runs, and how he was responsible. And if we're sitting here frustrated on Friday night, because Kante is this fucking boss player that we expect him to be, and he's tracking those runs, or if Wijnaldum, Lallana, Firmino are making those runs into there, and Kante can't track them because he can't track three men, and you are just one man. Shows how fucking fluid our attack is, and you can actually start saying this isn't just because this Amati's some fella you've never heard of in defensive.
You're playing the best defensive midfielder in the league. If you can make him look sloppy and just completely out of it bodes well for the rest of the season.
Best two, arguably, if they choose to go that way as well. Yeah. That's right. I think that's the absolute biggest test, because we've talked about how you've got your three of the 43 up front. It can be made of 5 quite easily. It can be made of 6. It can be made of 7 if you need to. How do you mark so many men? Well, exactly what you're saying there. If Kante's on form and Matic is on form, they've got the best set of tools available to try and shut us down. If we can manage to get something from this and give them a ton of time, my God, I'd be looking at the rest of the season thinking, who's going to fucking stop us, quite frankly.
We're going to go for the overload, because we're going to bank on that. It's probably generally Willian who starts with Hazard, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Acosta up front. Those three aren't going to be doing that much. Willian will do a job, but they're going to leave 3. So if we might go over and say, listen, we're going to back ourselves 6 against 6 or 7 against 7 and see if you can stop us, and just leave our defenders to basically defend. So it'll be Henderson will sit to an extent to the 2 centre backs, but everyone else will go. Definitely go.
That's what we've seen all season.
That's what we do now. We're going to have to accept the fact that Jurgen Klopp's rolling the dice a bit. He's willing to bank on the fact that there's more chance of us scoring from this attack than you scoring from getting us on the break. That's what his plan is. It's a risky one, because you're going to leave Eden Hazard. It's a tough one. James Milner's going to have to cope with Willian's pace. It's not going to be easy. But I would back us to be able to get at least 2 goals on Friday. I think we can score 2. Can we stop Chelsea scoring 2?
Who knows?
Who knows? But I think we'll at least score 2. Whether that's going to be enough, we'll see. But I agree. I think Lallana's key. Like you just said, I think Lallana's going to be absolutely key in that. It's hard to pick him up. We're going to struggle to pick Hazard up when he goes walkabout. Lallana's difficult for them to pick up, because from deep he'll make that run deep. So is Kante going to follow him? I wouldn't mind Kante following him, because then our better players, and that's no disrespect to Lallana, because he's been great this season, are going to not have to face Kante much. Yeah. Or do you leave him and then let him run right like he can do it?
Well, this has got one of those situations where it wouldn't surprise me if they went, listen, Lallana's been really important for them so far this season. They make an extra effort to watch him, and this is the game when Wijnaldum crops up with a goal, because that's just the nature of the way we're laid out this season. Could be very exciting. I'm hoping, because we've mentioned him a few times, it'd be really nice if the rubbish Hazard turned up for this one. Yeah, that would take a lot of pressure off.
It would, but I haven't seen what he's done so far this season. I doubt that it will be the rubbish Hazard. That's down to.
He's been hit and miss.
He's been in and out.
But it's us at the end of the day.
I think it was West Ham.
And he's shown flashes, and I think that he will turn up on Friday night, and it's down to us to stop him. And I think we've already talked about it a lot. It's down to us to go out and score goals.
It's good. Again, it's going to be. He's going to play on the left, so that's a lot. That's where it's tended to be. Lallana's been kind of drifting from that side, hasn't he? So he's going to have to do a lot of work to help Klein out. You don't want to leave Klein 2-on-1 against, Aspilicueta and Hazard. That's just a nightmare situation. So we are going to have to defend. And then conversely on the other side, which is he might not pick Coutinho, is just that he doesn't want Milner getting completely done in by Willian and probably Ivanovic. Who knows? He might just say, I could play Firmino there, who's more willing to track back and do a job, and then still start a Sturridge or still start an Origi. That's one option for him. Our fullbacks have to be on point. I think that's what we're getting from this, aren't we? There's going to be situations where it's going to be you against your winger, and there's a possibility of an overlap coming. Can you deal with it?
I'm really looking forward to seeing the situation. We saw it in pre-season. We've not really seen it so far. Is that start your team however you want to start it. Do what you do. Try and run the rags to the best of your ability, and then bring Divock Origi on for the last 15 minutes of a match. And just let him stretch the defences. We brought him on against Burnley, didn't we?
He's been poor since he come on, to be honest. When he's, even against Arsenal.
Pre-season, he was great coming on.
Yeah, he hasn't been great coming off the bench. Whether it's a fitness thing, I don't know. But when he started against Burton, it's pinch us all, but he was really good. But he hasn't been. It's only been a couple of games. Don't get me wrong. He come on against Burnley as well, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He did
Tottenham as well, and he wasn't. It was the
yeah,
wrong sub at the time, wasn't it?
It's not been amazing come off the bench, but.
I think right now he's third choice. I think Daniel Sturridge is definitely ahead of him, especially against his old club as well.
Should be. I mean, I wouldn't be averse to Sturridge starting. If someone said to me, Daniel Sturridge, it wouldn't be.
There's a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should.
Right, we're in a situation where we said earlier we've just gone beating the champions quite comprehensively, albeit at home when Leicester not in great form at the start of the season. I don't think anyone would be disappointed if you said go ahead,
same side,
same, and that's even including like Lucas Leiva. I would be edgy because again he's not a professional centre half as it were. But Lovren can come back in. We all know Lovren can come back in and can do a daft thing just as well. Lucas seems to perform when the pressure's on.
Lucas played really well on the weekend.
Yeah,
bar that was just mad.
Bar the inexplicable.
But that's hopefully that's a once in a career move. Yeah. Every centre-back, Touchwood, has done that at some stage. Has done, Colo Torre's done it for us. We've seen Steven Gerrard's done that for us. We just give them a goal.
Yeah.
Every player's got one of those in him.
But this is it.
Hopefully that's just one. But
that's the good thing about it, isn't it? Because
I wouldn't be absolutely shocked.
Yeah, but exactly, we're looking and going, yeah, okay, that'd be absolutely fine. There's probably 3 or 4 permutations that I'm equally as happy with, and then on top of that, there's probably another handful that I'm happy with on paper or in my imagination. We've not seen them just yet. So yeah, it's Chelsea are gonna have no idea what to do.
Well, now I think the other thing that we've not really talked about is how fluid that midfield three of Henderson, Lallana, and Wijnaldum has been, because we've talked about the 4-3-3 a lot, but it's very, very easy for us to switch into a 4-2-3-1, and I just wonder whether that might be a move that we do against Chelsea as well. I'm not saying that you go out there and you set like that all the time, but Wijnaldum and Henderson could be just slightly deeper than Adam Lallana, and Adam Lallana look to occupy Conte, so that those forward runs of Coutinho and Mane have more credence and stuff. So.
I kind of agree with what Aubrey said. I think Klopp's more of I'll let them deal with us than we worry about them kind of manager. I think certain situations you might think we're playing against X player, he's really good, we might have to do a job on him. But on the whole, I think he feels it more a case of we'll do what we do, and we've done it against Arsenal, and if you can. We'll make this chaos, and we back ourselves to win the chaos, basically. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see it, and I think that's because he doesn't trust his defence 100%. If I'm honest, I don't think he does. Yeah, he hasn't quite got what he wants. So that's his game plan. So I don't think we'll do too much different in terms of. Right,
I don't think Chelsea. Doing the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3 is doing anything different though.
But I think if you went 4-2-3-1, channel play.
But when you look at what we did against Leicester. You look at the average positions from everybody in there, most of it was 4-2-3-1, wasn't it? You looked into it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Adam Lallana's occupying the 10 positions so often that there's periods of the game where we're playing 4-2-3-1 and there's periods of the game 4-3-3.
I think it kind of wants these illusions. I think if you were going to do it as an absolute deliberate measure, Chan and with Henderson dropping in alongside is probably the better option. But again, it all boils down to how ready is Emre Can, given that he's only started training again this week.
It's a big game. I mean,
Sakho back in training as well.
Sakho's not going to get a game.
He was there for the photos.
He was very much in the photo. I
think they do it just before I'm doing my starting 11. You see, just to mess me up.
I'd be amazed.
He's not starting.
But
never.
With the thing with Chan is we've seen him drop in. Villarreal, for example, like you mentioned earlier. But I think having beat Leicester, and with Chan just not probably. There's no guarantee he can play 90 at this stage. I don't think Klopp will want to start anyone on the pitch who he doesn't think can play the whole game.
Well, given how much of a stink he's made since he came in about having to complete 10 training sessions back to back before you're able to figure in a game. So we know there are extenuating circumstances. I think it's different when you're looking down the barrel of a European final and you're 5 games into a Premier League season away from home in a very, very But again, this is the beauty of the situation we face and the squad, and every single time this team takes the field, we see the depth of the squad, because we the players that we're not convinced with, we become more convinced with week by week. And there's still players, as I say, Emre Can, we know how good he is. He's barely kicked the ball for us this season. So much room for improvement in that team anyway. So I want to know key man predictions, please, for this game. Aubrey, I'm going to start with you.
I think he'll come back in. I think Coutinho. I think he'll start. He'll move Firmino into the 9, into the striker role. And just based on the fact that he didn't, I know he came off the bench, but he didn't score. He wasn't a key part of that Leicester team. We're slowly building a team where Coutinho can be where he needs to be for us, which is not the main man, and the man who can be allowed to turn it on 1 in 5 games, 1 in 4 games. But when he does turn it on, a la Arsenal, just before half time, and gets another one in the second half, boy, does he turn it on. Yeah. And he's going to be wanting to prove that. He'll feel left out. His mates have all just had a fucking run around and all scored a load of goals and all slapped each other and all got slaps and stuff like that. And he wasn't involved in that. And he's a good footballer, and he offers us something very different because he's not as mobile as them, but he can pick a pass, and hopefully the Coutinho who can shoot turns up against him. Yeah. But I think also they're going to be worried based on the performances, the 30 minutes against Arsenal and obviously the Leicester one. They're going to be thinking, Lallana, Wijnaldum, Mane, Firmino, you've got to mark them. Who's left over there? And hopefully it's Coutinho who can actually have a really good game.
Great. Do you agree, or are you going to throw someone else in?
No, I'm going to flip defensively and say Matip's a big part of this game. I think we've mentioned their threats before. Is Costa, he's great. He's going to be Costa. He's a bellend, isn't he? But in a half nice, half you wish you got him, but you want to volley him into the stands kind of way. Matip looks to me like he's only young, but he's quite cool and calm, and I think that can get to Costa if you can just don't engage him, just keep doing what you're doing and wind him up. And also Chelsea are massive. Yeah. So set pieces is key. So when they do send Luiz, Cahill, Ivanovic, Matic into the box off set pieces, and Costa even, someone's going to have to deal with him. And so far so good, I think, for Joel Matip in terms of what he's been great. I think since we dropped him in at Spurs. It was Spurs, wasn't it? Yeah. He's been great since he's been fine. So have we finally found a centre back who we can just go, he's fine. Let's worry about the next guy, and hopefully we're getting that. I'm almost there with Matic in that everything I've seen from him so far. This is probably Harry Kane wasn't on form when we went to Tottenham. I don't think Harry Kane was having a poor time of it. Costa's on fire. Yeah. He's the first striker we're going to come across who's absolutely bang on form. Let's see how Matip does. I think he'll do well, but I think we'll need him to have a 7 out of 10 game for us to win this.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Roberto Firmino. For all the reasons that I spoke about before, if David Luiz comes in, it's important that he drags him out of position and makes sure that Mane and Coutinho, Lallana and Wijnaldum all get space. So nothing more to add.
Well, he could be the key man and yet not score in this game. It's funny, isn't it? Because I think a lot gets put on. It's like, well, you'd imagine if you centre forward, you want him scoring the decisive goal. But as you were saying earlier, it's just as important as him and the space that he makes for the other guys.
Dan Sturridge at Leicester was phenomenal without scoring. Yeah, he was unbelievable. And he created the space for the first goal. He won the ball back, didn't he, for the other one? On the second. And he had Mane's assist. You don't have to score. If you can, like you say before, if you can drag defenders out, and our wide players will come in, because that's what you can tell. That's the plan. Mane's going to do that run. That's going to get a few goalies sent off. Yeah. And Firmino's going to do what he does. He's going to do it slower because he's not as fast, but he will create the space, and his shooting's looking better. I thought they were 2 composed finishes at the weekend.
I think he's a great finisher since he's been at the club. To be honest, he's not a fellow. You put him in front of goal and you think, is he going to miss? I always sort of bank Firmino.
Doesn't panic.
He doesn't panic, and it's always
a good shout.
It's always consoled.
It's a good shout. Yeah, their goalie hasn't been great either. I think I'm touching wood with the. Yeah. He wasn't great the other day. Yeah. Test him.
no, absolutely.
He gave a pen away, didn't he? Running out and being a bit nuts.
Yeah.
Mane.
Let's get Sadio Mane having a little go at that, mate. And
Yeah, I'm going to pick, and it's a bit of an outside show, just based on what I said before, Wijnaldum, that I think he's due a goal. And I think this is the game where I just think there's no attention on him. No one's Liverpool players are just starting to talk about him in a general positive sense, but everyone's raving about Mane, everyone's raving about Firmino, Coutinho. Everyone knows already. Lallana, of course, even Daniel Sturridge. Doesn't matter. 4 from 5 or whatever of them are going to start. And it just wouldn't surprise me for Wijnaldum to crop up and just nick one.
I've been disappointed by his finishing so far, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
he looked better at Newcastle. Maybe it was because it was against us, but I don't know. He's had a few chances now where Arsenal kind of side-footed at Spurs. He was a bit hesitant, and
I think he's one of that. He's a confidence player.
He needs a goal, doesn't he? But he's had a couple of good assists. Adam Lallana loves him. He keeps setting him goals up, but yeah, I think he needs to.
Well, Lallana owes him one, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of what Aubrey was saying before about being the man left over with Phil Coutinho. It could easily be Wijnaldum.
It's going to be Lallana or Wijnaldum. It's got to be. It makes no sense for it to be anyone else. Put the ball back of the net. Lallana's showing now that he can do it.
Yeah.
We all said before, we bought Wijnaldum because he scored 10 goals. That's his job. Yeah, it's his time to do it. And like I say, I'd love him to just put his foot through one.
Yeah. No,
just absolutely blast one and see what happens. Like that's what Lallana did.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes he tries to be a bit cute and rarely get go for the angle or go for the just smash it.
Stride onto it and smash it. Henderson could do the same. To be fair. Score prediction, Chris?
3-1 Liverpool.
Nice.
3-1 Liverpool, same, yeah.
Fucking hell. I think, and this is not, I'm not saying a defeat, I think it'll be 2-0. Exactly what you said. I think we've got 2 goals in us, but I think our defence has got 2 goals in them.
I'm going 2-1 to Liverpool. I like the 3-1 shout much more, obviously. Just the same. I like, the same as. Would you take it the same way as last year? Go down and to go 3-1 up.
I'll take 1-0 I'll take 1-0 with an own goal in the 96 minutes. I don't give a shit as long as we win. But I see us being in front 2-1 and getting them just getting a final one on the break where they overcommit a bit. So yeah, that's where my money is. I mean, listen now, I've lost a lot of money this week on betting.
I kind of see it the same way. I think we'll be 2-1 up. Last 20 minutes, we'll prove that we're a fitter side than them. I think we've proved all season long that we've been the fitter side on the field each time we've taken the field. And I think Chelsea will be no different in that regard.
Because they're going to go, in my head, we're going to be 2-1 up and they're going to throw Batshuayi on and change the shape of their team.
And Fabregas.
Go for it. And it's going to be, can we stop it or can we exploit it? That's going to be the key in my head.
Yeah.
I fancy Sadio Mane.
Yeah,
just in general.
You fancy him, yeah.
I'm
just putting it out there.
The trivia question was, name the last two players who played for both to play in a European final for Liverpool. Chris?
I think it was Zenden in 2007 and Sturridge last season.
Correct. Good shout, very good shout indeed. I was looking through a lot of like the play for both stuff, and I was trying to work out ones, and it just depressed me because I kept coming up with players who like that Torres and Morelos had won the European Cup with Chelsea and stuff like that, and I was like, no, I can't possibly bring myself now. So I ended up with that. Good work. Took a few moments. It's nice to handle.
The Zenden one was a bit tricky. It was the Sturridge one was obvious, and it was going back, and then I was thinking.
I got the Zenden one before the Sturridge. I tend to always do that.
I got Sturridge, and I thought, well, the last European final was 2007. Went through the team, so it wasn't.
Well, that was the one that stood out. He was probably the one. The 2 players that stood out almost in 2007 was Pennant because he had that amazing first half, and Zenden because why on earth was Zenden starting that game? Yeah, crazy. If you got that right, well done on you. Give yourself a huge pat on the back and a finger or whatever if you need something more than that. I don't know. Look, if you need something more than a pat on the back, I don't know.
Is that your next step up after pat on the back?
Whatever floats your boat is all I'm saying.
Not a hearty handshake or a cheer.
Listen, this is the internet. There's a lot of people sat at home on their own. I'm just saying, a pat on the back and maybe giving themselves giving themselves a thumb up might not be enough. I don't know. The internet's a dark place.
Thumb up what?
Just a word to the wise, if you are wanking, don't stand up and do it over your keyboard. Just saying.
Why would he wanking to us?
No, just in general. It's just a piece of advice.
General piece of advice.
Speak for yourself.
You don't want to ruin your Bluetooth keyboard, do you?
No, fine. Wow. so pat on the back to finger. That's your step. That's your step.
They're 2 ends of the scale. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, sound.
So if you want,
not
you
his
really want
foreplay. Technique started with a cheeky.
Just in case, you know.
There's the thumbnail.
There you go. Thanks very much for watching. Check out the rest of the content. Thanks very much, Si. Hi. Yeah, check out the rest of the content in the build-up to this game as well. You'll be talking to Louis.
Yeah.
And he's going to be doing what?
All kinds. We're doing a combined 11, which we're unsure where it's going to sit yet. So keep your eyes peeled on our Twitter for that. And Lou will be breaking down Chelsea's tactics and what they've done this season for us. So.
Amazing. And the usual starting 11 as well. Fantastic. And then post-match, of course, the Final Word show. Watch that on the redmentv.com. Anyway, lads, thank you. Pleasure. And I hope we'll all be smiling. Post-match, we might do a live show for Chelsea as well. Yeah. Undecided.
Let's do it.
We'll see. Again, stay tuned to the Twitter for that. Or in the comments
we did
below.
a Chelsea live show last time. It was just a
audio,
wasn't it?
It
worked out well.
Coutinho off, and then he turned into be amazing.
We should do
more of that. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Ta-ra.